I'm kind of sketch about doing this because I've never done this before. So it's Saturday, May 30th. We got like a week until Hot Rod Power Tour. I'm going to drop this video right now. This is where we're at. I'm going to drop this video right now. And this is for all my welding guys. Give me some tips, man. You can give me tips in real time because I'm about to do both these floor pans, the inner rockers on both sides and the outer rocker all the way back, and the cab corner on both sides. I'm running through here. This is what I've got so far. I ground this down. I didn't want to go too far because I didn't want it to get weak. I was playing with the settings all night last night, and you'll see in the rest of this video. As of right now, my settings that I have for doing the sheet metal is this. I'm running 15.3 on volts and 165. This thing's flickering. And it seems to be the best, but I don't know if that's going to penetrate enough. It's like we're just doing these things back to back to back, you know what I mean? Welcome back to another episode on 6.6 Builds. I'm going to go over what we're doing today. We have our cab corners. We got a set of inners. We got outer rockers. We have our driver's side, our passenger side, and a raised tunnel so we can fit our Allison trans in. And look at this wreck. And this is what we got to work with, guys. So the first thing we're gonna do, I'm kind of sketch about doing this because I've never done this before. So I'm gonna be doing this like panel by panel as we go through this. We are gonna cut out this monstrosity that we have here. We're going to leave this factory center tunnel in here, and we're going to cut out that monstrosity over there. And we found a guy kind enough to cut us out a factory floor to put in. I'm going to be going off of, like, these are our seatbelt bolt holes. This is our bench bolt holes. I think that's a seatbelt. I think that's a bench, and that's a seat belt. So in the front we have a bench bolt hole here. So we got to be strategic about this. Maybe use what I have in the truck already, and maybe not. I don't know yet. I don't have a full plan for this yet. I'm trying to figure out how to make this as stable as possible. I'm thinking to cut out the sections, but as I'm looking at it, I'm thinking probably to set this whole entire piece through there and just cut it out to fit and weld it in. And as far as all of this goes here, man, I think obviously I want to take care of the seat situation first and get those in, because I got to find exactly where they get located, make sure they're in the correct spot, the whole 9 yards. Then obviously we can come in here and we can start doing these floor pans. These things are toast. And I'm just going to do the whole pan, and I'll show you something. So that pan rides around here and fits into here. And as you can see, we got a lot of rust up here. Same with this side. So I also need to be replacing this metal here. It looks like I can save this lip. I'm gonna cut straight across there, try to tie into this the best I can. And same goes for up here. I'm going to try to tie in the best that I can. This is not going to be a show truck, but the goal is to seal off this firewall. Got a hole here, got some pinholes here, but I want to seal it off. I just don't want like exhaust fumes and crap getting in the cab through there. So we want to make sure that we seal that off the best that we can. And remember, like, I've not done this before. I have never welded in sheet metal in a truck before. The last time I welded was probably 20 years ago. So I'm trying to revive a lot of my skills and what's going on. And I got another surprise that I'm gonna show you guys, speaking of welding, that I went ahead and invested in. We got ourselves a welder, boys. So I got a welder. We can take our time with this. It's not like we're borrowing one and we're stressed for time. I'm already stressed for time as it is because I want to get this done by June 8th. But dude, I don't know if we're going to make it or not, man. And we just got to keep watching the videos and see if we make it, because this is going to be a task for me and my skill set alone. on top of it, it's a task, I think, pretty much for a lot of guys, even if they've been doing this for a while. So we'll see how this thing turns out. And then this is what we got going on down here. Oh. Let's get busy, man. Let's get this old crap out. They put this frame in here. I mean, they had the idea and they made it work, but dude, this has got to go. Not today, Junior.
Never will.
I think we got us a plan of action here, boys. Underneath here, we have a main support. And there's gonna be all kinds of plug welds and all kinds of other stuff under there that's gonna be making this hard for this to come out, right? So I think what we're gonna do, our metal that we have goes all the way to the seam, which would be nice, and just swap out this whole thing. But I wanna leave this main support in there exactly where it's at. So what I'm gonna do is, basically where that cut is back here, the farthest back that cut goes, it's in front of our seatbelt bolt. So I think what we're gonna do is we're just gonna go straight across here. I'm gonna get a straight edge out and cut that. And then in the front here, we're gonna kind of do the same thing. So we have up to about here with metal based on that hump we got out there. So I can cut that straight across here, all the way across, and we're just gonna lay that whole new piece in here, tie it all in up top, underneath with our brackets, because there's brackets that go across here. We'll get all that tied in. Then we'll play with our floor pans, because I'd like to get this is the main structural part that's going to hold weight, the seats, all the things. So to me, this is most important. And if I'm doing this wrong, or if you guys would do this in a different order, let me know. You know what I mean? Like I said, I'm learning this, so I'm just going off of what my brain logically says for me to do. So we're just going to replace this whole center section. Originally, I wanted to keep this because it's already tied in by factory, but I think it's dumb to put in this piece here and that piece there, and they might be tweaked or off a little bit. So if this whole plane is in it at one time, I believe that would be best. So I'm gonna make a straight edge all the way across here. We're gonna make a straight edge all the way across here. We're gonna cut this thing, separate it along here and over there. I'm probably gonna just come up to here. I'm gonna leave this stupid ass lip up here. So once we bring the seat in, we've got our new hump here, but I don't know where to tie into yet. We've got inner rockers, we got outer rockers, and we have floors. So most of all this metal around here will be new for this to tie into for the most part. Sheesh, I don't know, let's see what we got. Got our line, and I'm going to cut straight across here, cross over there, around, pull this whole section. There's a support bracket that's supposed to be right here. This is the one side of it here, and it's supposed to travel across and connect to here. So that's on the new piece of metal that's in the bed over there. I actually have 2 points of reference that I left in here. One will be here. This will be obviously the seatbelt bolt hole, and then this cup right here. So what I'm going to do on the other piece of metal that we're going to put in here, I'm going to actually leave a tab right here just so it sets in here and matches up on both sides and these will line up. And these will be my 2 points of reference back here for me to tack this side in. And I know that it is where it needs to be as far as positioning. We're going to get this thing done as quickly as possible so we can get this back together. And like I said, I'm not looking for a show truck. You know what I mean? All right, so in here you can see this floor pan goes up and folds in. You guys can see that there. And on the pans that I have, they do that as well. So I'm going to leave that whole lip on there so that way we can tuck as far out towards the firewall as possible, and I'll show you why. So once I cut this metal out of here, I'm going to cut a strip out of here and weld a new one in. This bottom lip is okay. It's not rotted, it's just this. So I'm going to clean this up, put a new lip in here, and then on the inside there, that floor pan is going to butt right in here where these two meet each other. And then we're going to weld them together. Like I said, this is not a show truck. All I'm trying to do is seal off all these holes on here. We're going to do a strip here too. I'm trying to seal all these holes off because I don't want all these fumes getting into the cab. That's the main thing. And we'll go and put seam sealer over everything because we got some there. We got plenty of extra holes here. There's a freaking hole in the tunnel here. We're gonna seal this thing off, man. We got some over here. We're gonna take care of all of those, and then, like I said, you'll see. I'll grind it down and try to make it look kind of decent, but it's not a show truck. We just want to seal it off. My brain is telling me to take out the floor pans now, but I don't know if I should tack in our new metal where the seats go first or not, or how weak the cab will get with the floor pans out. So, and I need to do it in, I know there's an order to do these in. I don't know the exact order of this. I've seen different guys say different things, but because I've got floor pans, I've got inner rockers, and I've got outer rockers. I'm only doing the inners on the front. I got one set of inner rockers, so we're not going to do it back here. The inner rockers in here are pretty decent, so I'm not even going to mess with those. We can maybe do that later. If we end up doing this truck for real later, then we will. But we've got 4 points of contact coming together here, and I'm trying to brain this thing out so I can put this together correctly. I've seen guys put the inner rocker in first and then the outer rocker. I've seen guys, you know, put the floor pan in, the outer rocker, and then slide the inner rocker between there. Seen like all kinds of different ways. So I guess there's just more than one way to skin a cat. We're just going to try to, I think the most important thing is these brackets right here. And I grabbed this 4x3 sheet of metal here. It was like $70 at Tractor Supply. So we'll see what we got. It should be pretty close. Well, it ain't perfect, but it's a lot better than it was. And this side over here was a bit worse than what I thought it was. You guys can see that. It's pretty rough. So we'll just blow this thing off. And after that, we'll spray it down with some of this. Hopefully it will be good. If not, maybe we'll be doing another pan in the future. I don't know. I don't know how well this rust reformer works, but we'll have to give it a shot. All right, so we got our metal cut out. Been trimming and trimming and trimming on it. And so now I'm gonna show you what we got, what I've been doing. I scuffed this whole thing down because we're gonna spray the inside of the cab. We're gonna go over the outside of the edges and what I did and how we got it together and how we're gonna get it in here. And I haven't done the final fit yet, so we're gonna do that together. But I've been working on this for a couple hours, just trying to clean it up and get it prepped and ready. Time is ticking, man. We gotta get this thing done. I don't know if we're gonna make it on June 8th, but we're gonna try like hell. So I'm gonna show you what we got. All right, here's the pan. You can see I kind of cleaned it up, scuffed it down, got all the nasty insulation or foam from the carpet that was on there. And you can see, man, this thing's pitted pretty bad, so I'm kind of nervous about what that's gonna do or not do. But I'm taking this whole thing as a learning lesson, because if we got to put a pan in it later, we will. But anyway, this is what we got, and you can see I made some holes here all along. These are all going to be like spot welds, and I'll show you where we're going to tie those in. But cleaned up all the edges, went all the way around it. Obviously we're going to be making more cuts on here. I didn't want to cut more than I had to before I put this in there. I wanted to get this in and see where it lands and then go from there, but it's looking pretty spiffy, man, so we'll see what we got here. All right, this is where we're at right now. I made a couple extra cuts here. I cleaned up this edge and cut more out here. Got this 45 here kind of where I need it. Now all those spot welds I showed you guys, it's gonna lay on here, on this lip, all the way across. I left a lip here from this bottom bracket. So we're gonna lay the metal on here. We're gonna get one side tacked in from the bottom where the bracket meets this bracket. So there's the bracket that carries from here to here. We're gonna get this. I'm gonna probably throw a sheet metal screw in there so it pulls tight. Screw it in there. Here, we're actually gonna lay the bracket on top of this bracket. So we're actually gonna be like a heavy 16th forward on both sides, because I didn't want to butt joint this, man. I ain't welded in a long time, and I'm not up for it. So I figured what we can do is, because we got this groove and we got this lip here, we can use this to our advantage and match the two bends right here where it'll lay right in it and stop. You can see where I made a line. This is what we have on the seat metal that will sit on here. So it'll lay in here. We'll know where it's at. It's about a 16th that way. Nobody will know the difference. And bought this with my own money. There's no sponsor here. I literally went out and bought a welder. This thing does MIG, TIG, stick, plasma cutting. It does it all. I got it set up right now with 023 wire. Got my settings at 17.5 at 300. I don't know if that's even good or not. We'll see how that works out. We're gonna have to play with that. But this thing does a lot of cool stuff, so I'm excited to get using this. And when maybe later we'll be doing a C-notch back here, so this might come in handy. But I literally bought this for this project so we can get this thing done. All right, I had a friend stop by. Ate up about 30-40 minutes of the daylight today, but it was worth it. Friends are good for you. So this is our fit, man. We got a little gap over here, but I'll just put I'll put a strip on there. I don't care. This thing's gonna get carpet anyway. But Same with this right here. But the rest of it, it's looking pretty sweet. This side, I might have made a couple of bad measurements here, but we'll get it done, son. But this long run, man, it looks pretty damn good, dude. We're gonna get this thing tacked in. I think what I'm gonna do is start on one side and work my way over, and I'm gonna come under here, and I think I'm gonna throw, man, sorry about the camera. We're gonna do a little spot weld in there, and then run a little weld down the side there. All right, so next day, we went well into the night trying to weld this in here, going through 57,000 different settings, playing with the gas, the wire feed, how hot we were, all the things. So here, I'm gonna show you my booger welds and we'll go from there. So you can see they are absolutely terrible. Right here was the worst. I had a big gap here, and I tried to bridge through there, and I did. I ended up bridging in there, but it's very bad. But some of these welds, I started playing with grinding them before I went to bed. But I mean, some of them, I don't know, dude. I mean, I think they're all terrible, but I couldn't get the settings right, and I think right before I went to bed, I got the best settings. So we're gonna grind all that down, see where we're at. I would say 70% of this looks like it penetrated, but there was a lot of buildup because of high wire speed or low voltage. But maybe, I don't know, maybe it's not any low voltage because I'm at the lowest setting now and it seems to be burning through the best. So we'll play with it and see what we got, man. Like I said, this is the first time I welded anything in 20 years. And the only time I welded then was a class I took. So it wasn't like I continued doing this. So as we go, hopefully it'll get better. We'll see what we got. For now, we're gonna bust out the old flap disc here. Try and knock some of this down and see what it looks like. All right, here's what we got. There's a lot of little voids and high spots. And dude, I totally forgot how bad it sucked to grind down welds. But so any of these voids, like this void here is just the weld going over to the factory. But like this one here's a hole. That's going over to factory. But anywhere, like there's a hole, here's a hole. Hole. I was blowing through here in the dark last night trying to get this thing to dial in. But I'm gonna go through and try to seal up all these holes the best I can with weld. We're gonna go over it with seam sealer, but I mean, I don't know. For my first go around, I think it's pretty. Actually, it's terrible. It's just terrible. All right. So let me get this thing buttoned up over here. I don't care. It's gonna get carpet in it later. You ain't gonna see it, but it's a lesson learned. And now I know kind of where my settings need to be. So before I finish grinding the rest of this, I'm gonna show you guys. So right here, I figured out that just like pulling the trigger and letting it go, pulling the trigger, letting it go, kind of left like a nice little bead there. And it didn't eat too far into the factory on either side. It penetrated well. And it seemed like it was more consistent. Kind of hard to see with this camera, I guess, but that's what we got. And by no means is this perfect. I gotta get a couple of these little cuts I got over here, but it's not perfect. I didn't want to grind too far down where it might weaken the weld. So I just went to knock down the humps on it so you wouldn't feel it under your feet. But time will tell. I don't care if I have to redo this again later. It was a learning experience. This was good enough for me. You know, I got to learn a lot. So I think what our next step is going to be is this floor pan. So let me show you what we got. So obviously I must have been here before with these plates in here. I don't know what the hell's going on here, but I would like to do the pan all the way up to the firewall, but I don't think I'm gonna, unfortunately. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come right above here, come across, I'm gonna get over to here, come down, and then go back across. So I still have this rib here, and I can kind of match, you know, the floor pan up to this rib and run it all the way through. Now remember, we have a raised tunnel too, and I want the tunnel to sit on top of this floor pan and that floor pan over there. So I want to get this one in, start gutting this rocker out, and figure out how we're going to tie this in, because I have no idea how those actually tie in. I believe that inner rocker is going to ride up on here, and it's going to come across and give us that little belly here. But the rocker is for a standard cab, so it comes way up, like it's going to go to the back of the cab. So we're gonna have to cut that and make it fit, and we're going to cut another piece to weld in right here to fill this dumb gap that I messed up. So we'll put a strip in there. We'll run this inner rocker after we get this pan in. We'll get this inner rocker in, and then we'll figure out how we're going to tie in our outer rocker. And this is for all my welding guys. Give me some tips, man. You can give me tips in real time, because I'm about to do both these floor pans, the inner rockers on both sides, and the outer rocker all the way back, and the cab corner on both sides. I'm running through here. This is what I've got so far. I ground this down. I didn't want to go too far because I didn't want it to get weak. I was playing with the settings all night last night. Give me some tips, man. You can give me tips in real time.